And I'm going to show you how to make these amazing Salvadoran treats. So you're going to need some masa harina or corn flour, some salt, and some water. And you want to get to a certain consistency so that you can easily make it into a ball and it doesn't crack. If it cracks, it's not ready. What you'll end up with is that kind of consistency for your masa, where you can then flatten that out and use it to make a pupusa with. So let's make a pupusa. Here are some ideas for ingredients you can use. All right, we're going to make bean and cheese pupusa now. I'm just going to roll that into a ball. So if you start flattening that out again into that disc, sort of a cup shape almost, or a very shallow bowl shape, what I suggest you do is you get your beans first. And put them in first. It's harder if you put the beans in last, okay? You want to get those beans in first. And then grab some of your cheese and stick it in on top. I've got some beans in my cheese. Probably should use a spoon for that. And then start shaping the ball of dough around the beans and the cheese, and then make it into a ball, okay? And the next step is to start flattening that. If you find that it's sticking to your fingers at all right? Then what you can do is just dip your fingertips in a little bit of oil as you flatten out those pupusas, because that'll stop the dough from sticking to your fingertips, all right? Here we go. Almost there. And flatten it out just a little bit more and fix those edges again here. As you can see, fixing the edges. Move that over. Got a bit of a mess to clean up after. And it's, there we go. It's ready to go. So I'm going to place that on my plate over here with my other ones, waiting to go. I'm waiting for the frying pan to heat up, or the skillet in this case. I'm going to use a skillet, but you can just use a normal frying pan for them as well. So now I've got 3 pupusas ready to go. You can see I got the skillet going on the stove. It's heating up nicely, and what you might want to do is add just a little bit of oil, spray it on, or pour a few drops on, and then just wipe it around. So now we're ready to take our pupusas, which we have ready prepared on our plate, or we can make them on the go and start putting them on the skillet. These are ready to go. And we're just going to lay them on the skillet nice and flat, give them a little bit of a pat just to, even out the surface of them. Got another one here. This is my first frijol con queso, or beans and cheese one, which is not as pretty as the second one, I have to admit. And we place that on there and give it a little pat as well. And then I'm going to take my cheese one, which was the first one I did, and place it on there and give it a little pat as well. I've got my skillet going here, so they'll cook nice and flat. And here they are cooking, just starting. Pupusas take a while to cook, and you'll see that they're starting to lift a little bit. That means they're starting to cook inside. They'll start to bubble up a bit once you're ready to flip them, and you want the edges to really cook. And the moment has arrived. We're going to take our spatula and we are going to start to flip those pupusas and cook them on the other side. So you just slide that spatula underneath, trying to be careful not to shove it into the other pupusa or break it, and you give it a nice flip. Look how nice that looks on that side. You can move them over a bit if you want to as well, if they're kind of, getting towards the edge of your skillet or your frying pan. And another little flip. You can see that they were starting to bubble up on the top. Yep, they're really rising. We're going to give them one last flip, just to be sure that we've cooked them well on both sides. Oops. And then we'll be ready to serve our amazing pupusas. So now that our pupusas are all cooked, we're just going to get our spatula again and stick them on the plate that we've got waiting for them. Here we go. Got a nice little pile of pupusas here, and we're also going to want some sauce to serve it with, and we mix up our own with, we cook a bit of tomato, onion, green pepper, spices, cook it up, blend it, cook it up again. But you can take salsa natura as well and water it down a bit, or one of the Del Monte sauces as well, those would work. But yeah, the nice fresh stuff is the best, with fresh tomatoes, onions, garlic, green pepper, water, and spices. Right, so now we've got our pupusa on the plate, and we've got our sauce, and there you go. There is your frijol con queso, or beans and cheese pupusa, ready to eat. Now, traditionally, pupusas are finger food. You eat them with your hands. However, when they're really hot, sometimes you might want to use a fork and a knife. If you don't want to get your hands dirty, a fork and a knife will do as well. So it's your turn to make delicious steaming pupusas. Enjoy, and happy Civic Week.